Every year, changes are made to the Eurovision Song Contest, often provoking passionate responses in the online world about why this will either be the beginning of the end for Eurovision or the next best thing since sliced bread. In the wake of the 2023 contest, we're anticipating potential changes to the jury system, but there will no doubt be more alterations to come. The Swedish broadcaster SVT are hosting in 2024, and whilst putting on spectacular shows with top-notch production, they also have a fetish for making changes to the contest. So, here are 4 things I would change about Eurovision. The first one is quite simple. Bring back the juries in the semi-finals. Yes, there is a legitimate argument that they make minimal difference to the qualifiers. However, there are juries in the grand final, and so for the sake of consistency and simplicity, especially key for the casual viewer, the juries should be in the semis. Also, some have pointed out that with fewer jury favourites in the grand final, we could see similar scenarios to 2023, where those at the top of the jury scoreboard far surpass the other entries in points, whereas previously the jury points were more spread out. This is an issue with the public vote in recent years, as the favourites swallow up huge chunks of the points, leaving many others with mere breadcrumbs, although in the televote's case, it's not so easy to fix. The next change I would make also relates to the juries, and it's to do with how they rank the songs. Juries have the criteria, and they are supposed to rank the songs based on it. However, with such a loose and informal use of the criteria, it's easy to just not use it, or at least not use it properly. Instead, I would have them score each song against each aspect of the criteria, out of the trusty 10 for example, so a score for vocal capacity, a score for composition and originality, and so on, would then see the scores totted up, giving each song a total. The songs are then ranked according to their overall score. Ties could be resolved by, say, giving priority to the one with a higher composition and originality score, and then so on and so forth down the criteria. And while we're on the subject of juries, I would keep the 50-50 split. Given the televote greater say has conundrums of its own, and besides, part of the excitement of Eurovision is not knowing whether the winner will be the televote winner, jury winner, both, or indeed neither. If there was a system in which the televote winner practically always won, then that's lost. This year, for example, the tense suspense in the run-up to the contest over the battle between Sweden and Finland could have been, less tense and, less suspenseful. Boring. Change number 3 is regarding the point system. For a long time now, we've had the classic 1 to 12 points. It's synonymous with the contest. But since it was first introduced, many more countries participate, with the grand final being nearly double the size of when this system was introduced back in 1975. So, is it time for a change? I would suggest giving points to the top 15 instead, either by upping the maximum number of points or even by using the distribution outlined by Stuart MacLean in his video, which retains the beloved 12 points system. Having more points up for grabs also reduces the likelihood of countries receiving pitiful single-digit scores or even the infamous nil points. The final change is with regards to the running order. Currently, countries are randomly drawn into their semi-finals and then either the first or the second half of the show. The latter draw also happens to the grand final. But within those confines, as well as the host entry's random slot in the grand final, the producers are the ones that put together a running order. A combination of draws and producers is a good compromise between a fair competition and entertainment and logistical considerations. However, instead of drawing halves, maybe they could draw quarters instead. Producers typically like to put the favourites towards the end of their respective half, and entries performing early in the show often suffer on the scoreboard, most notably in the grand final. So maybe it would help a little bit to see those favourites spread out a bit more. So there are the 4 things that I would change about the Eurovision Song Contest. Undoubtedly, you may find fault with this, or that, or the other, and I'm sure a few will tell me in the comments that I'm a loony numbskull with wild fantasies, and indeed that there are more cons with these that can be humanly counted. Yeah, you know what, these aren't perfect. But you know what else? They never will be.